Alright guys, so we're going to test out even more fighting games that you're able to play using Winlator. In particular, the Winlator CMOD. And also I'm running a Samsung Galaxy S8 Ultra, which has a 16:10 resolution and has an Adreno GPU 730, I believe. So let's get started. First off, what I like to do is go to settings and clear the RAM before I even get started for Winlator. It makes a big difference when it comes to the frame rates, the consistency, and just the overall smoothness of the experience. Let's go ahead and clear that. Okay, now let's open Winlator CMOD. So as you can see here, these are the list of games I'm going to go through, which it's a lot of fighting games, some other unrelated programs. Some of these games run better than others, so you'll see the discrepancy as I go through each game. So the first game up is DNF DUEL. From the version 2 wrapper to the 1, I don't really see much of a difference under testing. DX wrapper, now this is what you want to pay attention to, and then this is what I have, especially you want to hit the gear icon and see kind of which one it is. So there's a big difference between 1.10.3 or 1 tier and then going to 2.41 tier. Usually I toggle between those two. So if a game is 2.41 and it works, or if it doesn't work, then I'll go back to 1.10.3. So usually I just hover between those two things. And I believe 1.10.3 was more for older Adreno GPUs or just older Android phones in general. Let me just go through my settings. So here you can see that here. And then we got this. And there you go. You can see here. Go to environment variables, go to advanced. And yeah, this is DNF DUEL. So let's go ahead and click on the game. Go through this. And even choosing just a sky tower, the default that you select without moving. So the game is very slow. Like I said, this is kind of what you expect so far for Winlator CMOD, at least for my tablet. You know, it's playable, but not for a sustained period, where it's averaging like under 30 frames per second. And the sound for this Android device is being recorded through OBS, so I can't actually hear it until I play it back. But I'm sure maybe the sound may be cutting out too. But yeah, this is kind of what you expect. Before, DNF DUEL wouldn't run on the older Winlator back when I tried it, but now it runs. And one thing I forgot to mention is the fact that you can install your games on the D drive onto your C drive in order to decrease the load times. So you notice here for certain games I have a parentheses and I indicate which drive it's on. So typically your D drive is where you first install your Winlator, and it'll be somewhere on your internal storage or your SD card or whatnot. So let's go ahead and go to your container file and see how we can access the C drive. So as you can see, the C drive is located right here. And don't even try to access it normally using a files manager, because unless you have an app called MT Files Manager, which is like a Chinese app and is very sus, then even if you have an app that can access the root of your Android device, you still can't access the C drive. It's so weird. Trust me, I looked it up. So you may need to actually root your device or to get this one specific app. So otherwise you're only going to be working with the C drive inside Winlator. So anyway, you go to your D drive, essentially you just copy your entire game installation, double finger using your fingers on Winlator, and then you'll go copy, go to C drive, and then you'll just paste it anywhere here, essentially. So here I have a folder called Spielen, German for games. And this is where I have 2 games I've already put in the C drive. Double tap again, and then you just paste. And then after you do that, you go to your game file, your game folder, and then you'll just go to the exe, and then you'll double tap and you'll press create shortcut. And then you'll have access to your game on the C drive, which will make boot times at least 2 or 3 times as fast. No exaggeration. Okay, so the next game will be Hyper Dragon Ball Z. So let's go ahead and show the settings first. Here we are. All right, let's play it. Shout out to Dragon Quest 8. Really any Mugen game, even on the PC, will crash because there's a leakage that the RAM, so in reality Mugen will eventually crash, and I think that same thing happens here, to where it gets slower and slower as you play, even though it's much better than the past, but I think it's more of a Mugen problem than not a Winlator problem. And also, if I were to click the actual container, which is entitled Mugen, that's the whole reason I kind of began CMOD, is like I wanted to play Mugen on an Android device. Then it just ballooned to this, and we are where we are. So if I go here, just to show you my settings, really, HyperDBZ Wicked Ambition is the latest build. And then go to here and go to data and then go to the Mugen CFG file, configuration file, I always say CFG. Double finger, edit, double finger to scroll. And just to let you know my settings, because Mugen's finicky when it comes to trying to get it full screen, trying to toggle the screen size. And I wouldn't do all that if you load Mugen in a actual container. It's better to do as a shortcut and already have your settings set using the CFG file. So you want to do the game width and game height right here. As you can see right here, full screen goes 0 right there. So you want to copy those options, and also render mode equals system. Because you do other things, it will glitch out on you, trust me. One more thing. Hey, shout out to Jackie Chan. You want to go here, and remember on my last video where I had a controller profile and I include the link as a MediaFire file in the video description? You don't need to do all that. This is a new era, you know? And so all you need to do really is plug in your controller to your Android device. Wireless or wired, doesn't matter. Go to controller manager, go hit assign, and just press a button, and they'll automatically recognize your controller. Okay, and then you're good to go.
Round 1, fight!
So yeah, that's Hyper Dragon Ball Z for you, you know? Works pretty well. And it lasts for a constant 30 or 60, however you set it to, for a longer period of time. But again, for Mugen, the memory leak issue, it'll eventually start to slow down. So just remember that's a Mugen thing and not a Winlator thing. All right, so for the next game is going to be Streets of Rage Remake. Now this is like a fan-made game of Streets of Rage on the PC, and it just adds a tons of new songs, levels, characters, content. It's amazing. So let's go ahead and go to the settings first. And this is my settings. Now this game is very sensitive to what resolution you set it on, so I lowered it to 960 by 544. So the next game will be Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3. A game that definitely, if you're a fighting game fan, will be lovely to play on an Android device, so to speak. Because really, officially on a handheld, you can only play this on a PSP Vita. So these are my settings. Let's see here. And I don't really change environment variables, so just go to advanced. There we go. Let's start it up.
Ultimate Marvel versus...
Now usually I like to test this game by doing a very low intensive mode. So I'll just go to mission mode actually, and then go to Dante. All right.
Mission start.
And this is about what I get. Usually it ranges between like 35 and 40 frames per second whenever it's like a normal game. It'll start off in the high 40s, but then it'll dip down to around 35 to 40. And when you really need to clear the RAM, it'll see, I can still do combos. See that? So that's a good sign that it's still relatively stable, you know? So when you really need to clear the RAM, it'll dip down to around the 20s, to be honest with you. But on a good day, it'll be high 40s, anywhere in the 40s. And this is the current state of Marvel 3 for my tablet, at least. When you look online, you'll see people getting, you know, actually worse, really, around 20 to 30s and stuff like that. So it seems like no one can run this game full 60 as of yet, at least on normal Winlator builds. But as you can see, it runs, and it's actually playable. It's just slow. All right, so the next game is going to be a Mugen game, and we're just going to go ahead and go into it. Same settings I'll use for Hyper Dragon Ball Z I'd use for this game, so let's get it. This game is called Last Bout Styles Will Clash, and this is one of the many full Mugen games that the creator Sean Alty has made. Highly recommend to check this guy out if you're a fan of original fighting games, you know.
Excellent job. Too easy.
Very interesting game. He has a lot of good stuff. And it's kind of set in like a world tournament, but for real this time, you know? Unlike, you know, a game I won't mention, but the presentation, the characters, they all feel like they're very well done and fleshed out, I would say. So let's go ahead and go into the game. And let's just go to let's just go to arcade mode. Usually I like playing this guy, Bryce Lowe. He's like this British Taekwondo fighter. It's pretty cool. Not many characters, but they're very unique, you know, and diverse in my opinion. And yeah, just for brevity's sake, let's go ahead and fast forward.
Next thrilling matchup.
Give me your best.
Let's go.
Round one, fight.
Dragon fist. Dragon fist. Bone.
And the AI is very challenging, as you can see. Oh my god, it took so long to beat this game, to beat the arcade mode in this game. Let's go.
Maybe next time.
But yeah, so that's this game works smooth, perfect frame rate. Well, not perfect, but it feels good. Let me just say that. Now this next game is a main event, and I'm talking about Blazblue Central Fiction. Briefly, let's go through the settings as we always do. As you can see, and now let's run it.
Please select your character.
There's no issue, you know? So it just feels great. Especially for a game as technical as this, you want the experience to be, you know, precise. Next is another main event, and this is Ultra Street Fighter 4. I don't really change any of this stuff beyond the wrapper and the stuff on the first menu, so go ahead and enter. And so yeah, my experience, this game runs perfectly. I've trained on this game for 30 plus minutes on this Android tablet. Ran perfectly, no slowdowns, it was great. It feels like it was just meant for Winlator, you know?
It's survival of the fittest on a global scale. Who among the challengers will make it to the top?
Bring back this edgelord for Street Fighter 6. This is my guy, bro. This is my guy. I miss Oni Akuma.
The answer lies in the heart of battle.
Are you ready? Fight!
Hadouken! Hadouken!
As you can see, the game works fine perfectly, even with the capture card recording. Next is Big Bang Beach Revolve, and if you've even heard of this game, then you get some style points. Then you really search the caverns of fighting games, in my opinion. Now this game is very hard to run on a PC. This is an arcade emulator. You have to go to their Discord in order to get it. It's very hidden. No one really talks about this game. It is very underrated though, and it's a good anime fighter game that I guess never had a proper console release. Just from playing Mugen, I know of these characters, so I had to, you know, seek this game out like a private investigator, really, or Doctors Without Borders or something. And good luck getting it full screen because this is very incompatible with modern Windows. So it was very difficult just to get this running and the window to be centered, you know. So our next game will be豪血寺一族祭り先祖供養. Tongue twister, big name, I know. This is part of the Power Instincts series, if you guys know about that game. Power Instincts, or if you know about Groove on Fight, then this is a game, an iteration in that series. I can tell you which one. It's been a while since I explored that series, but I got my eyes on that series ever since I explored different fighting games back in 5 years ago. So those are the settings, and let's go ahead and get to the game. This is the arcade emulation, part of the systems called Taito Type X, I believe. It's part of the Nezuka live experience. I'm not familiar with a lot of these anime fighter arcade only games, but now I can't hear the sound, and I believe I set one of these buttons to coin, which is select. But I recall the sound being very glitchy and jittery. So I've used all the sound settings, and it's all the same, and we'll get started. It's just been a minute since I played these games, but I remember having such a fun time on this series. I love the animation. It's very humorous, is endearing. I remember, this old woman on Power Instincts, she can transform into like a giant, I guess, or like a brawny woman. She's so funny. This game has a lot of charm and love to it, or the series, I should say. And in my opinion, ahead of his time graphically, in my opinion. Whoa, he's clearly a Native American. Back when Japan cared about other cultures and actually gave an effort, you know? Instead of presenting everything in Japanese schools and high school clubs. Obviously, this is back during the golden age of fighting games, to where, you know, the peers and contemporaries were doing things at a high level. So even some random offshoot game had to do things at a high level, you know? In just one battle, I'm already having a much more fun time than most modern fighting games, to be honest with you. Going on that same trend, we have another niche anime fighter game that was just an arcade only release, or rather the arcade version of that release. It is called Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax Ignition. This game is actually on, well, fans have ported this to the PC and they've given it online play. And I may have rollback, I believe. I need to go and look it up. They have a Discord. I could link in the description if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments. But those are the settings. Oh, and for this game, you must set this to 60 frames per second, because if you don't, then the game will run too fast and you won't be able to play it because it'll be running at a gajillion miles per hour. So how do you do that? It's one of these, yeah. So you have to set this to 60 frames per second. You must do that for this particular game, or else you won't be able to play it. Trust me. But briefly for this game, I'm not the best spokesman on this. I just like to play a lot of fighting games, and it's not like I'm an expert at these. So this game's like a compilation game, kind of like a Smash Brothers actually, and it has a bunch of different characters from different series, from various animes, from various mobile games. I believe you have to interrupt the opening sequence or you won't be able to get into the game. So Let's go ahead and try that again. Yeah, you have to put a coin in before, if it finishes, or you won't be able to start the game. So yeah, I mean, you know. So like I said, you have a bunch of characters from all over the place. You have Akira. I think maybe Sonic's an unlockable character, or at least there's a Sonic stage. There's characters from animes, characters from games. It feels like it's so random. You have Kirito from Sword Art Online. It feels like it's so random, but it works. And this game is actually a very good game, in my opinion. It's very presented, is very high budget in terms of the movesets, the graphics, the stage design. And it just feels like a good game. It feels like a fun game that you can play with your friends on a weekend, in my opinion. And if you're a modern anime fan, you may recognize some of these titles that you see as I hover over the select. Ooh. What's not to like? She has a sword and it's on fire. Let's go. I need the headless horseman lopping off heads on a motorcycle. Let's go. Even though I don't really know how to call the assist, but whoa. There we go. Uh-oh. No, I can see. You're not that fast. Okay, that wasn't too cool. And now we're on Chaos Code. I bought this game years ago on Steam. It is a cool anime fighter game. This is probably one of the first anime fighter games I actually played and learned how to play somewhat before officially getting into Blazblue. And you know what I forgot? This game actually doesn't work. Or I haven't got this game to work yet. I do recommend playing this game though. So this is Blazblue Continuum Shift Extend.
Please select your character.
So it's good to have this game just available so that I can toggle between the two and kind of see the differences, you know? Because I've been told that older Blazblue games was very complex and unique and it had a lot of things going for it, you know? But, you know, and I've been told that the newer Central Fiction game got cut out a lot of things and they homogenized characters. So I plan on doing like a deep dive into Blazblue. Next, we're going to talk about a fan favorite of mine. And if you saw my interview of the dev creators, then you'd know I'm talking about Battle Craze. Let's go on the settings and then we'll talk about this game, which is very interesting that it is now able to run on Winlator. So 4x3, not taking any chances. So here are the settings here. Let's see the wrapper. We're using FexCore, courtesy of a tutorial from Discord. I might make a separate video on running Eichmann on Winlator, you know? And there you go. These are the settings here. Trying not to go too fast. Okay. So essentially, Eichmann was never able to run on Winlator. Winlator couldn't run OpenGL games, which I guess Eichmann is a part of. So translation, you can now play Eichmann full games on Android device. This is amazing to me because Eichmann is clearly the successor to Mugen. It's the future. And so Eichmann is going to be the thing moving forward when it comes to the premier 2D engine to make fighting games. So this is a big step that is able to run on Winlator. It's very important. I can't understate it. Now this takes 1,000,000 years to load, and it's not just for Battle Craze, it's for any Eichmann game. So it's still, you know, a frontiersman effort, to be honest with you. Like I have to watch out for Comanche Indians, bro. It works, you know? Now this one you really need to clear the RAM and hopefully your device isn't too hot, but it really runs well, you know, relatively well. Doesn't run a full 60. It has hiccups and it gets slow, you know. But again, I came from the older Winlators to where Aikman couldn't run at all. So this is amazing. Especially if you have your own personal Mugen that you've converted to Aikman, you can now run your Mugen on you know, Aikman, you know? But it really varies depending on like the day and the position of the moon, honestly. Because some days Aikman runs like perfectly, some days it runs like this, you know? So you really have to, I haven't really found a consistent frame rate, it just varies, you know? Okay, we have 2 more projects left. The first one is going to be a bit unorthodox and a break from the pattern, which is Blender, actually. And so let's go ahead and go to the settings, which this will be very important, so pay attention if you want to get this to run. And this is essentially what we have here. DX wrapper. Go down here, pulse audio, effects core again, similar to Aikman. Seems very versatile core to get things to run that otherwise couldn't, you know. And yeah, let's go ahead and see this. Okay. So I'm an artist. I'm a comic artist. I'm an animator. Blender is always something that I wanted to learn. I've tried to learn in the past. I've even bought courses to learn Blender. And I've even did the donut, like the famous donut guy. And every time you learn it, drop it, learn it, drop it. So I'm kind of in that stage to where I constantly have to relearn Blender. But at the same time, Clipsilo Paint, the software I used for 2D drawing, is getting more and more 3D capabilities. So Blender becomes less and less of a need, but I still want to use it, especially the grease pencil. I mention all that because I'm going to immediately go to the grease pencil. Actually, no, let me go ahead and just see what's cracking over here. We can go to general. And as you can see, it runs. It would help if I had the mouse, to be honest with you. So I can't really, since I just have a finger, I can't really show you and extrude and transform and stuff like that. But you know, it works. The tools work. You can go on to edit mode, sculpt mode, from the little I remember. And so yeah. Now let me go to the 2D side. Where's the grease pencil? Again, this is amazing how you're able to use a fully fledged 3D software inside a Windows emulator in Android. This is amazing. So now let me get my stylus, which you can't see here, but I am using an Android tablet that is capable of drawing using a Wacom pen. So if I draw here, this isn't using a finger, then you can see you can draw. And you can even erase. See that? This is amazing. This is on the Android. Blender is not available for Android. Just for my 2D artists out there, essentially when you do a 2D animation canvas, then by default purchase sensitivity is on if you have a pencil. So the fact that it's not working means that, you know, it's, who knows if I need to download a driver in order to get that to work, like a Windows pen, you know, a WinTab driver, you know, that you see on Windows. I mean, that's another step that, you know, I'm not really willing to do, especially since this is using a Samsung Galaxy Ultra tablet, which has one of the best pen to tablet experiences available, even better than iPad in my opinion. So it's kind of redundant. You don't really want to do that. Just letting you know that if you use this, there is no pressure sensitivity. So you can't tilt, nor can you can change the hardness or softness of the stroke. It still works though, so that's pretty cool. Now last and possibly least, because this isn't my favorite game, is Street Fighter V. Briefly, let's go to the settings. Now right off the bat, this does not run well fast at all. This is definitely a frontiersman effort. Just to show you my settings, I've managed to at least get it to run. This is the advanced section right here. All right, let's let it rip. A word of warning, this takes forever to load. It goes through so many checks online. You have to sign into a Capcom account. You can't just start the game off and start playing it. They're forced you to do a tutorial. It's just insane. Unable to connect network. See, when did I ask to connect to the network? I don't want to play online. Why are you telling me something that a condition that doesn't matter to me? This is how they heard you. Offline. Yeah, thanks. I wanted to play offline. Thank you. Do you assume I just play a fighting game to want to jump online and play against other people? Is there nothing else to do in a fighting game? I know your game came out with no arcade mode. You know, I'm aware of that. You know.
side street.
This is the game, and yeah, this is about it. It runs in the 20s, you know. According to the settings I've done. If you have other settings that you know that's better, then let me know. So at this point, it's kind of not playable. And also, you kind of don't want to play the game in terms of the quality of the game, you know. But you know, just saying. I can still do a combo. As you can see, I can do it in my sleep because it's easy to do the combos in this game. So a game I forgot to mention is Skullgirls. So let's go ahead and look at the settings to that. This is just the settings of my normal movement container, honestly. It's pretty self-explanatory. I've changed nothing and the game runs perfectly as a spoiler alert. So there you go, and let's go ahead and start it out.
Black Dahlia.
This should be entertaining.
Valentine.
Time to operate.
As you can see, the game runs great.
So you're mine.
Essentially. Really feels official. No slowdowns. Stable 60. And yeah, no problems really.
Tell me where it hurts.
Alright, so this is a game that if you are not new to my channel, you'll be familiar with, which is Tekken 7. So let's go ahead and go to settings and let's just see what we got here. So we have 16:9 and there it is for the graphics driver. 60 frames per second. Effects core. Advanced, and let's get going. I've always said that in my opinion, Tekken 7 is going to be the Smash Brothers brawl of the series. It's going to be very forgotten and be like the redheaded stepchild, so to speak. But it had its time. It introduced many people to the Tekken series. It, you know, did a lot for the series. And when it comes to introducing a new generation, and when it comes to bringing Tekken to the mainstay of not only just fighting games, but gaming in general, and putting Tekken kind of back on the map, I would say. And I say that begrudgingly because I'm not the biggest fan of this game, even though my channel kind of rose to prominence because of this game, to be candid. So let's go ahead and get out of here and go to the main menu. It takes a little longer to load because it's on the SD card. So if you go down here for graphic settings, I have everything turned down actually, which I felt like it didn't make much of a difference because the frame rate is still pretty low. So let's just go ahead and go to offline mode and let's just go ahead and see kind of how it runs. Obviously, as you guys know, we're picking Miguelito. I don't like Jin because Miguel doesn't like Jin. I'm that much of a character loyalist. Let's go Infinite Azure, something that's very low impact. So yeah, this is about how it runs. High 10s, low 20s generally, I would say. Frame rate is very choppy, you know. And yeah, but you know, it's cool that it at least runs and it plays. And it really feels exactly like any other Tekken or Tekken 7 session. And if you guys don't know who this guy is, then check my older videos on my channel to see the beauty and both the beauty of his gameplay and how his gameplay makes him a beast, I guess. Still well enough to do combos. Whoa, I'm doing the Tekken 6 combo. I forgot the Tekken 7 one already. That's not good. Okay, something like that. Let's go. Anyway, so yeah. And so for the final game that I neglected to mention, it will be Guilty Gear Strive. So first off, let's go here to the settings and let's get started. You guys know how 16:10, here's a graphics driver. Now this is very important for the DX wrapper. For DXVK, you want to select At least if you have an Adreno GPU like me, you want to select 1.10.3 or at least the 1.10 line and not the 2.41, which I typically select. This is the difference between the game being able to boot or not. So be sure to select that. And everything else is pretty similar. Pulse audio, generally this is more compatible for me, but a lot of times it doesn't really matter. Environmental variables, advanced, and there we go. First thing I'll suggest you to do is to click start and go to display settings and turn this to low. This gives me an additional 10 frames per second boost, and then we're out of here. Then just to show you, let's go to training and show you the game. So I was gonna pick my girl, Giovanna. And so this is about it. Normally it ran in the 20s, but setting it to low for the settings made it to go in a 30. So it's pretty smooth after setting it to low and not on the default high. So it feels pretty good, you know? Even though obviously, so it can run a smooth 30 if I were to cap it at 30, it can, because it's consistently on 30. So this is the state of this game, really. You know? So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. If there's any games that you play that is also on this list and you have settings that you feel will make it more compatible and run better, let me know. And just, yeah, let me know what you think about the video. And so also, I am a fighting game guy, so definitely join my Discord if you guys want to play some fighting games with me. Join my Twitch because I'm going to be streaming random niche fighting games and or drawing and animating, one of those things. So links in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.